just take my time, cut up through. It's not the easiest thing in the world to cut. I'm gonna get this cut. Then instead of hanging these on this side, I could actually hang them on here because the weight of that and that. Right, so a bit like Blue Peter used to say, here's one I done earlier. So it comes straight off the air pump onto that adjustable valve, a 90 screwed into here, and then onto the air bar. Anyone else has used them, let me know down in the comment section because I've never used it. So that there's what you call the absolute hammer. Well happy with that. That's what you call the absolute dumpling. That's what you call the hammer. Absolutely smash that stew. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. James the Koi Whisperer. So this is part 2 of a video I recently just put out. If you haven't seen that, check back on the channel. But that being said, for the people that don't want to look back, I'm upgrading my filter system today. I'm upgrading my bio tank. To start with, just to give people a bit of a heads up, I want to be able to add more like media inside of the filter system using some of the MountainTree Lotus Root products. I've got to get some spiral filter mat out. I'm thinking about cutting some of that spiral filter mat. For people that don't know, just watch the video, see how we get on, and you saw all the coming up clips. Well, that's all in this video as well. So all that yibbity yabbada, let's just crack on with the video. Bosh! Right then guys, so I got this spiral filter mat, obviously from the famous MountainTree. This stuff's very tough, durable, easy to maintain, easy to clean, and how dense it is absolutely fantastic. And I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but if anyone used to use like baiting stops for boilies for carp fishing, it's pretty much got all of these little indentations on it. Obviously ups the surface area, but I'm going to cut this. There's several ways of cutting it. So yeah, like I was saying, there's several ways of cutting it. What I've done, because these sheets are pretty much a metre square, I decided that the line that I needed to get this to the bottom of the water volume was this line. But then it makes this piece sort of unusable for me in the system. So what I've done, I've split it dead in half. So both pieces are symmetrical. It means this piece will be symmetrical for another project if I want to use it. But there is certain ways of cutting it. I just use a standard pair of the old sheep shears. Give yourself a little fade at the same time. And bosh, there you have it. So I'm going to see if these bits fit. Depending if I use 2 bits or not, but it means I've got that bit spare, and it means I've got 2 bits that's cut to the exact same size if I ever want to use it for anything else. So she is a work in progress. You can see I've got 1 piece left out, reason being, so I've got the 1 piece of spiral filter mat in there now as it stands, and I've also got 1 more box of the Bacteria Lotus Root 2nd edition to put in. I've actually got 15 pieces in this box. Good old MountainTree. So what I'm thinking, before I add the hanging hook kits, I just want to see what it's all looking like, even before I add any air into the system. And I am thinking of a new way of getting this at the back, because I have still got the 200 litres of media inside of here, just obviously budged up. But I've got a tiny little bit of a dead spot here, and I have got a dead spot here, so I'm thinking about putting a new airline along the back there. We'll get to that in a minute anyway. So I just want to see how many pieces. I'm hoping 15 pieces is enough to fill up this little gap, and we'll see what she's looking like. But yeah, she's certainly in there. I don't know what sort of shot or angle you've got here, guys. Probably not the best content in the world seeing me put some stuff into a bio chamber, but you know, if I don't film it, you don't know. So 15 pieces from this MountainTree Lotus Root. And what I'm hoping as well is that the surface area on one of these pieces is absolutely incredible. The way that the media is designed, with all of the holes running down through the middle of it, and then if I peel this off, you can see how it's cut out all the way along. So the surface area on this ceramic media is incredible. It's part of the reason why I want to use it. I mean, 1 piece of this is a lot more than what's on a bit of plastic. So the main reason, like I've stated before, is obviously the mineral release that comes from this stuff into the water column at all times. I don't bother washing mine off either or cleaning it. You can do. I just put it straight from the box, straight into the system. Could ram extra in there, but I don't want to ram it up too much because I still want water flow around it, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I've got to think of a way of getting me bars in to obviously hang these hanging hook kits. So that's what she's looking like at the moment. But as they say, I've got a plan, Stan. So I've got some stainless steel bars or rods, and what I'm thinking, if I put 2 strips up through this side, there and there for instance, wherever I decide to put them, and then put this bar across both of them, then it would mean I can hang the rod kits, which are like this, which is adjustable on the height, so I can hang this eyelet hook on the top of this bar with the lid down, because a lot of people will say, why don't you just hang the bar from here to here, which I could do, and I could make something that flattens with a bit of bar so the lid still goes on, but I want the lid to go on so it's dead tight, if that makes sense. So this has got to be pre-drilled out, this has got to be pre-drilled out, put the 2 bars in, but I've got to cut all of these bars to the right length what I need them, and then instead of hanging these on this side, I could actually hang them on here, because the weight of that and that, I think, will keep everything in place. That's the plan. Let's try it. So yeah, I'm back in the work shed. I will have to get myself another one of these stainless steel rods, but it's all about trying. There's no point doing it all at once, because if it don't work out, go back to the drawing board. I'm going to get this cut, go and see what it's looking like. Right, so I don't know how well it's coming out on camera, but I've got the bar in all the way across where I want it. That allows this bar to be sat on top of that bar, because it goes all the way across there as well. And all I did was just count the number of holes across and just identicaled it or replicated it both sides. So this bar's dead level, which will allow me now to hang these hook kits, which I've got there, onto there. But I've only got 7, so that will only allow me to do 1 strip, but I've only got 1 bar for now. But it allows me to test it out, so that's what I'll do next. Right, so a bit like Blue Peter used to say, here's one I done earlier. So basically I've just hooked this hanging hook kit up here, but these are the hanging hook kits. You can hang any media inside of it, but it's designed for the lotus root bacteria house. And yeah, I thought I would just show you how easy they are to put together and what you get in the pack. So this is a 3-stage hanging hook kit. This is only a 2-stage that I'm currently using, but if your bio tank's deep enough and you want to use 3 sections in each tank, then fill your boots. But mine only fits 2, so I have 1 spare or 1 left over. So you get yourself your hook, which obviously comes in the pack. You get a piece of wire, you get the bottom piece, and then you get these green spacers in between, which I'm not really entirely sure what they're designed to do, but it just keeps the media separate. Start with the very bottom piece, just comes as an insert. You push the wire or the cable straight inside and it's self-locking, so that locks into place. Then all you do, you feed your first piece of media up through the center, lock that one onto the bottom, and then add one of your green spinners, as I call them. I always put the bigger piece facing down just to help it stay in place or in situ. Then add another piece of the lotus root media like so. You don't have to add the next one on top, but I always do. Finally, you add the last piece, which feed up through the little hole. As soon as you've pushed it past a certain point, it automatically locks into place. But if you want to adjust the height of your depth, you just pull on the piece of wire and it adjusts the height. So you, as you pull it, these media is quite heavy, but let me see if I can get it. So as you pull it, it just adjusts the height for you. And if you want to change the height, just push the spring back in and change the height. But let's get them in and see what they're looking like. Cracking idea though. It allows you to get them in and out the box easy. This is what she's looking like at the moment. Well happy with that. And the main reason why, just move these air bars out of the way, because that's another project what I'm thinking of before you see it. So the reason why I prefer having these in place, you can just add the media straight in like I have done there. These are still on the fishing lines, and I will eventually get another 14 of these to finish off this section and this section. But the main reason why I like these hanging hook kits is that if you ever want to do a dip clean on a regular basis, it's so much easier doing that and popping it back on the hook than what it is getting soaking wet hands, and even still putting your hand all the way down there when the water's freezing cold. I think it's just a much better idea doing it this way, and they hang dead symmetrical all the way up through. The next job for me to do really is to sort out this moving bed, because I still believe I can turn over all of this media. I'm wasting a bit of this oxygen this side, which if I budged it all up it will work better, but I've got an idea. So for the people that don't know, this is where I dump the extra oxygen out of this air pump, which is only a 35 litre air pump. I've got it regulated on one of these little lines which allows you to adjust the flow to a minute amount, and I got this off one of my mates. He basically works for the beer lines, and it's for what the breweries use pretty much. I've got this extra oxygen flowing into there, and what I'm thinking, I actually got gifted this from Burton's about a year ago, and all it is an airline, a metre long, put it together. It comes with a special little part on it so you can add as many as you like, but they actually fit perfect size into here, so I could eventually get one put in underneath the bottom of this. I could also get one put underneath the bottom of this if I ever choose to, for cleaning purposes, to agitate it, because I want to keep this section with no air, if that makes sense. But what I'm thinking, which I've just doctored around and played around with this little bit, or John Guest fittings, which I use for all of my beer lines. Not beer lines, they are beer lines, but I use for all of my air pumps. What I'm thinking is that extra oxygen which is coming from here, and for people that don't know and I just want to get them on track, so I always like my pond to have minimal air so I can see the fish, or visualize the fish that little bit nicer. Same as like in this pond, you can see the little fizz coming out of each bottom drain line that I've got, instead of it absolutely erupting and distorting the side of the pond, which makes it easier for me to show you the fish, but at the same time the fish are still getting a bit of oxygen and movement in the main pond itself, same as what they are into this pond. And the way that I do that is by using those little lines or adjustable valves which I've got down there. But I'm thinking if I fit an air curtain along the back, it will keep this media moving, and you can see there's a bit of a dead spot there and a bit of a dead spot there, and purely the fact of all of that air is just coming up in one place. And I think if I get it moving all the way across the back, it's worth a go anyway. And it's only a 35 litre air pump. This runs the pond with the bottom drains and that extra oxygen. This air pump runs the boil tank, and that's an 80 litre pump, and this air pump runs that boil tank and that air tank over there. So it's worth a go. I'll see what it's looking like when I just fit this little air bar and see how we get on, but I think it will help anyway. Before she goes in, this is how easy that it fits together. So it comes straight off the air pump onto that adjustable valve, a 90 screwed into here, and then onto the air bar. So that's what she's looking like without adding the air bar. And I'll just put the air bar down along the back, and I could pin it here as well. This is not pinned, this is without being pinned. That's what you call the absolute hammer now, look. I got no dead spots whatsoever. So it's working an absolute treat. Just by putting that extra airline in the back, keeping that moving. Look at that, guys, that's what you call the hammer. So I've basically still got 200 litres of K1 into there, or not the K1 but the Burton's Bioflow, and now I've actually added an extra 2 boxes of the MountainTree Lotus Root into this section. So it's what you call, what an upgrade. All of this is working the absolute hammer. This is working. The only thing that I need to do now, I suppose, is thinking about maybe adding an extra airline to this section and this section for cleaning purposes. But that's only really to turn it on just to move stuff. I want to keep all of the oxygen in here, but the reason behind me having this into here, which has got no oxygen, pretty much down to a point, is that it creates a different style of bacteria. Having oxygen in a filter is brilliant, but also no oxygen is also beneficial to the pond to create a different type of bacteria. Anaerobic, aerobic, aerobic, anaerobic, whichever way around that is. I can't remember the top of my head, but I know there's 2 types. So that there's what you call the absolute hammer. Well happy with that. And one thing I am going to add, because when I was at the koi show, I did get gifted this from a Wazi or a Waste, whichever way you want to produce it or announce it. So this is the dual boost. Apparently it's absolutely brilliant. I've never used it. I do like the fact this product comes in a bag, so you can put the ball straight into a bag, if that makes sense. Pretty much like I did with this sort of size or system that I've done in the back there. I'm just going to tie that to the bag, put it in there. Reason being, because I had all of that media out the other day, I've had playing around with it. Obviously beneficial bacteria will be at a loss, giving it a bit of a boost, giving it a bit of a try, and giving it some hammer. So yeah, I'm going to put this in now and see how we get on. Anyone else has used them, let me know down in the comment section, because I've never used it and I'm willing to give it a go. So yeah, I'm going to give it a bit of a smell as well, because I always like giving stuff smells for some reason. Don't really smell of much. I thought it was one big ball, but it looks like a few small balls in there. So I'm just going to pour them in. All the liquid goes straight in. Wash out all of that stuff as well. And yeah, for the people that don't know, I'm just going to show you what they look like real quickly. So it's pretty much like the Evolution Aqua balls, but just a lot bigger size down to a point. And it'd be interesting to see if these actually break down. So for the people that haven't used them, and I'm first to use this product myself, we'll check back in a couple of weeks and see if they've actually broken down into smaller pieces or completely been used up in the system. I'm going to put it in the same place as the other one that I've got, just to keep things straightforward. And I just lock them in place, same way as like tying a dog up. Put the collar around his neck, wrap it around the lamppost, back around the, you know, that's how I do it anyway. Bosh. And I don't know if it's coming up in camera, but the weather's took a turning for the worst. So time to shut the door. Do some inside jobs. First of all, get rid of all of this packaging, all of the little bits and pieces that I've accumulated. Put this back in the shed for another project. Tidy up all of the tools that I've had out. I've still got to fit this, so I don't know whether to put the tools away yet today or not. But I certainly ain't going out and doing that today. One thing I'm going to do though is have a little bit of maintenance onto this. Basically, I've turned the shower bar off. I come out this morning. These plants grow fantastic in this system from MountainTree, but the downside about it, what I've found, and I haven't used the right plants, and I have been informed by MountainTree that the plants that I've used are not the right type or design for this sort of system, but they're plants and they're in there and they're growing, they're living. I have to get rid of all of the mint today. It looks like this stuff's died off a little bit, so I'm just going to scrap all of it, put a new bit in. But the reason why I've got the shower off, I'll just revert back to you quickly. So basically the roots in these systems, they fill up, and then as it comes down through or trickles down through, it will find its way through a plant from a tray, splash onto here, splash onto here. Come out this morning, I had a load of water down through here where the water's obviously trickling down through, and it's the roots that get inside of the system. So using the right plants behind it certainly does make a difference, or what to use. But you live and you learn, and you trial and error. And I have been informed, and I do know that it's my fault. You are supposed to use certain types of plants, but I'm certainly doing a bit of maintenance on this. You can see some of the mint today's have died off, and it's nowhere near as green or vibrant. And I think it's just about that time where I give it a bit of maintenance, really. But I got to show you this, guys. So it's getting to that time of year. Time to get me stew, got me bowl ready, got me fresh bread. That's what you call the absolute dumpling. Bosh. That's what you call the hammer. Absolutely smash that stew. But that being said, I feel a bit like a beach whale now. I think I'll sort out this in another video. But well happy with the upgrade of the new filter that I've done. Obviously I've still got to finish it. I've got to get some more hanging hook kits to finish it off properly, but I'll do that in another video when I order them, when they turn up, all of that yibbity yabbada. If I don't see you in a week, I'll see you through a window. I'm going to go and sit down, because that stew's proper done a number on me. Woohoo! Bosh.